All right, welcome to the stream. Where are we there?
Travel far with the Southern Star. Travel far to know who you are. With the Southern Star.
You go, Morgan.
They tell you not to go, but they go
Hey,
there
Michelle.
all the same.
Hi,
They
Mark.
tell you not to play while they play all of their games. You work and try to love and don't get very far. Cause they show you pictures where they say you're supposed to be now where you are. Well, I'm right here with the Southern Star. Travel far with the Southern Star. Travel far to know who you are. With the Southern Star.
Hi, Terry. Good to see you. Howdy, boy. Christos, how you doing?
But they go there all the same. They tell you not to play while they play all of their games. You work and try to love and don't get very far. Cause they show you pictures where they say you're supposed to be now where you are. Well, I'm right here with the Southern Star. Travel far with the Southern Star. Travel far to know who you are. With the Southern
Hi, Indie Groove.
Star.
Ooh.
They tell you not to go, but they go there all the same.
I'll have
They
to come over and get
tell
that.
you not to play while they play all of their games. You work and try to love and don't get very far. Cause they show you pictures where they say you're supposed to be now where you are. Well, I'm right here with the Southern Star. Travel far with the Southern Star. Travel far to know who you are. With the Southern Star.
Oh, God.
They tell you not to go, but they go there all the same.
Here's Indy's backup channel.
They tell you not to play while they play all of their games. You work and try to love and don't get very far.
Hi, Nina. Good to see you.
Cause they show you pictures where they say you're supposed to be now where you are. Well, I'm right here with the Southern Star. Travel far with the Southern Star. Travel far to know who you are. With the Southern Star. They tell you not to go, but they go there all the same. They tell you not to play while they play all of their games.
All right.
You work and try to love.
Well, thank you for that, Morgan. It's on a repeat. That was awesome. That'll go on and on. Sorry. He's edited really well. It's almost seamless there. You can see it. Find the one part where it glitches, but had some edibles for breakfast. That's the way to start the day there, Nina. Maple sausage for me and the dog. Wow. All right. So today we've got some viewer mail. I've got some images to show you from yesterday. We'll have to check all that out. Where were we here? Oh yeah, it was something that was brought up the other day. I wanted to share. See, take a little bit of a dive into Jekyll Island. Apparently built. So the story goes at the moment. Built on the grave of what is so special about Jekyll Island. 5,500-acre island, home to 10 miles of shoreline with a variety of events, family-friendly activities, and attractions, from iconic driftwood beach to the island's historic homes, the Georgia Sea Turtle Center, and more. Jekyll Island has something for everyone. So let's see. What millionaires lived on Jekyll Island? This was the conspiracy part. Oh, okay. The grounds and the landscape throughout the Jekyll Island Historic District have been lovingly maintained to capture the essence of how the privileged lived during Jekyll's Halicon days. Millionaires Village was home to families such as the Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, the Astors, and the Morgans, amongst others. So, very interesting. Apparently, so the story goes. Let's see if what we get here. Let's take a look at the landscape. Yep, it's a rosary quest. Yeah, I love maple syrup too. Can't eat much. Recovering from oral surgery, but you had edibles. That's awesome. That is awesome, Nina. Maybe we should have Nina up on panel. I'd love to see you up here, Nina. Must be feeling good. And I don't know how your speech is at the moment. I always love people when they're on medication like that, the dental medication. You see in the videos, people saying the silliest things. Wow. So what does that look like to you? Let's see where it is. Savannah, Charleston, Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge. Okay. So it's in Georgia, okay. Now, don't call me an extremist here or anything like that, but I see dragon genitals. It certainly does look like a dangly. Scotty has not kicked in yet. Okay. Well, we'll wait until it does then. Hi, Dolly. Good to see you. We're taking a look at Jekyll Island here. So I wonder what kind of ceremonies and rituals they did there. Those sick buggers. Let's take a look here. Apparently it was a burial ground. I don't know. That's one of the things I heard. Oh, interesting. Looks like a seal or an otter, letting pareidolia take hold here. Or a bear, raccoon, some type of an animal, anyways, with a funny elongated face. It looks like a camel bear. Camel bear seal. It's camel bear seal. There we go. That's what it is. What do you guys think that is? What does it look like anyway? No, this is in Georgia, Dolly. Right, Scotty boy? Honestly, a dangly. It's a dangly. It's Jekyll Island, yeah. I don't know. Is there anything about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? So, I don't know. Jekyll Island. Wonder who Jekyll Island was named after. Let's check out. See if we can search that. Sir Joseph Jekyll. In 1733, interesting number. 17 is 8, 3, 3, 6, 8, 3, 14, 1 and 4 is 5. Any of you out there in the numerology department? General James Oglethorpe named Jekyll Island in honor of Sir James Oglethorpe. Oh, thank you, God, for that. In honor of Sir Joseph Jekyll, his friend and financier from England in the late 1800s. Financier, okay. Jekyll Island became an exclusive hunting club for families with names like Rockefeller, Vanderbilt, Pulitzer, and Baker. Okay, 1730. Let's point out some obvious ones here. So 1733, General James Oglethorpe. Like, really? Okay. Name Jekyll Island, obviously one of the inns, because you can't run around with a moniker like that and not have cash. I don't know. In honor of Sir Joseph Jekyll, his friend and financier from England in the late 1800s. Jekyll Island became an exclusive hunting club. So, 1733. Interesting number. The names are very interesting. Jekyll. When was the story of Jekyll and Hyde written? Just a curiosity. Let me check. (1886). So well after the establishment of this island. Now, that's actually kind of curious. Was the book inspired by what happens on this island? I don't know, just throwing it out there. Yeah, 33, meh. Could be just a coincidence. Let's see what else comes up about this. Probably not unlike the hunting parties they have now, yeah. Now, Desert Rose believe there's something very nefarious about this place, so we're going to delve into it and see what we can find. As much as we can. We'll see how far we get. But the names were interesting. I don't know much about this Sir Joseph Jekyll. see. Sir Joseph Jekyll. Okay. Let's find out a little more about Sir Joseph Jekyll. YouTube is a flypaper to find those who need poisoning. Wonderful. Having some fun here. I remember Utes, Mullins, learned plenty from them. Okay. Orange is the only color that equals 33 gematria. Sir Joseph Jekyll. Hi, Peter. We're just looking into the history of Jekyll Island. Could be a conspiracy, you never know. So let's see who he was. Born 1633 in the United Kingdom, died August 19th, 1783. The life of Joseph Ignatius Sancho's biographer. I don't know if we're going to get too far with this line of research. Sir Joseph Jekyll of Westminster was a British barrister, judge, and Whig politician who sat in the English and British House of Commons for 40 years. From 1697 to 1783, he became Master of the Rolls in 1717. Parents Joseph Jekyll, John Jekyll, and Tryphena Sanders. Okay. Grandparents Elizabeth Leake, Thomas Saunders, and Thomas Jekyll. Nobody I know, anyway. They were with the Whigs party, definitely. Okay. Life of Joseph Jekyll. Council Lords, Halifax. No. No, this isn't going too far. Oh well. That was interesting. So, a little bit. Yep, he makes video, Nickelodeon videos. If you want to sub up to his channel. He's the son of my best friend, so he's making his own stuff. Let's see, where were we there? Let's find. Okay. Wanted to take a look at that island a little more. See if we can have any more pareidolia. See any animal shapes, or looks like a crazy spider leg of a golf course. Oh, a golf course. That's cool. So it's a private golf course too. That's awesome. Hunting reserve. Really nice looking place. The water kind of looks brackish, but it's all silty too. This beach over here looks pretty good. Driftwood Beach. Let's go see what the beaches look like. Kind of stony looking. Not too bad. Looks pretty sandy. Well, you see the moon shape? Cool. Hey, Mr. Obvious, how you doing? Yeah, it's in Florida. Oh, that people conspiracy theory. You'll have to look that term up. Jekyll Island, Georgia, I can believe. Hi, Emmett. Prehistoric diatoms? That's an interesting theory. Oh, the sand looked like a crescent moon. Okay. Yeah, there's a bunch of beaches there. They look all right. All right. Let's do unless Desert Rose comes in and talks about this, I don't really have much more on this. Close some things out. We'll go to the inbox because there's a bunch of images people had to share. Jekyll Island. There we are. Inbox. Okay. 13-page delay. There we go. So these are blind. I don't know what. This is from Timothy Lyons. I haven't even looked into it. Let's see what we've got. Okay, going to give me problems there. Couldn't preview the file. There was a problem playing this video. Okay, we'll download it. Don't know if I'll be able to find it, but we'll download it. Open. Okay, where did you open up? You got to be somewhere. Uh-oh. Might not be able to do it with the format. Oh, there's something. Can you guys see that? Okay. Yeah, I did download it. Let's see where it is here. Inbox. No. Oh, there we go. Blue Lotus. Is that it? No. Let me try something else. Cancel. Where is that? Okay, it's in a separate player. StreamYard, let me see if it'll open it up. Video file. So oh no, it's not in there. Let's see if we can find it in Windows. Oh, there we go. Got it, I think. All right. Let's see what we've got now. Okay, on my end it's playing, on your end it's not. Uh, is it playing there? Looks like a rocket. Um, Dang. Yeah, I don't see anything either. Okay, well, sorry guys, I can't play that. Not from there, anyways. Okay, let me stop that. Let's see, what other options do I have? Switch to. Give that a try. No. No, it won't play for me. I can't get the file to open for you guys. Okay, let's go back to inbox. Hi, Mary. Blackout. Yeah, unfortunately. Okay, was that it for viewer mail? Wasn't too much this week. Dolly Liver Rock, we did that last week. Okay, wellness. Nope. Okay, that's it for viewer mail. And for Jekyll Island, I didn't have much to do today, so I'll open up the floor for whatever you guys want to talk about. Oh, that's a good song. Green Eyed Lady. Well, we just talk about conspiracies and stuff like that. Enlightenment. Hi, Deborah. This is an older crowd, Peter, than you. Peter's 19. Most people here are around my age, Peter. I know. I mean, not know. Good to see you. Yeah, Mary, we just did Jekyll Island. If you want to tell us a little bit more about that. Yeah, and we transmute with love, sending our love intention out to the world. Hoping to make the changes. 54 going on 12. Yeah, that's true, Scotty boy. No, not illegal. They're trying to make it illegal, though. The idea is they want to take away our ability to be free thinkers and have fun with ideas. So that's why they put laws in place to try to stop that kind of thing. Your sister knows a lot about the conspiracies and stuff like that, all those conspiracy theories. Some of them are true, some of them aren't, you know. We're just looking at all the possibilities. Yeah, with intention, yeah, you can transmute love, send your love energy out. I think so. Some still theories. So what was the theory on Jekyll Island there, Mary? I think I was it you that brought it up? We went over a lot of the history of it. It was named for Sir Joseph Jekyll in 1733. If the air we breathe was illegal. Did you read the part about the Rockefellers? Do you have a document to send me that I could read? Yeah, we believe there's different histories, different ways of looking at things. Yeah, yeah, take a look. Okay, it was you, Desert Rose. Okay, I thought it was you. Old man and lemon parties, right? Yeah, they had hunting parties there, all kinds of parties. You even have a huge golf course there. That's pretty awesome. Oh, they're around somewhere. Hasn't made an appearance today yet, but he's pretty tired. We went to the falls yesterday, kind of stressed them out. They were up late. Max is sleeping somewhere. Chloe's always sleeping somewhere. A place where they signed away freedom in secret. Where was that, Emmett? Dr. Norco Longo on YouTube. Old World, Florida. Is that a good source for information? Hey, Morgan, I played your song as an intro to my video. I did. I'll play it again later. Okay, let me check that. Dr. Norco Longo. Let's take a look. Old World, Florida. There it is. Let's take a look. Anchors of Atlantis videos. Yeah, we did Jekyll Island. No, I never heard that story. Smart dude speaks very well. Yeah, I love the song, Morgan. Let's see. Hidden History of Ancient America. Moors of Florida. Anchors of Atlantis. Let's see if he's got anything on Jekyll Island. Let's see. Nope, nothing particular. He had Jekyll and Hyde came up. Let's see, we'll try that. Old World Anchors, John Saxer, Henry Flagler, and Atlantean, Florida. Interesting. The public has never heard the story. Heard of this story by the End Times production. Okay. Is that on YouTube? I'll try that in regular search. What was that again? The public has never heard this story by End Times production. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Hopefully it's a shorter video. It says it's only 59. Okay.
To build their house on top of a blood sacrifice altar. He said, well, Rockefeller. I said, who would be crazy enough to build their house on top of a blood sacrifice altar? He said, well, Rockefeller was.
I'm here on Jekyll Island, Georgia, one of the most mysterious places in the country. Some call it the Bohemian Grove of the East Coast. This island also holds secrets that are key to unlocking why the world is the way it is today. Behind me is a place called Indian Mound, which is actually home to the Rockefellers. And I'm here investigating a mystery that most people have never heard before. This mystery has been shrouded in secrecy for almost 100 years.
Jekyll Island is where the Federal Reserve banking system was birthed and conceived. And at one time when it was functioning in the 1900s up to the 20s and 30s, some say 1/3, some say
Okay, now you get what
of the world's
conspiracy
wealth
theories.
would vacation on that island. It was the highest conglomeration of wealth in a single place very often anywhere in the world back in the turn of the century. So it just seems like a little island that's not anything significant at all now, but it's amazing to see the financial side of the history of that spot. And so I'm sitting there looking at some of the things that he's telling, just thinking about some of the things he's telling me. We went out, walked around, and he showed me some of the cottages that had been restored, and the club itself, and the tennis courts, and they had a pier where the boats would come up, and he's just kind of showing me the grounds, and then we go to the museum, and he's talking a lot about the financial stuff and the guys that built it, and each cottage was marked and named. Some of them had been restored, some of them didn't exist anymore, but they had like a sign that this is where this one was, and that one was built by J.P. Morgan, and that one was Rockefeller's, and that one was they had each one of them named. Well, they're all kind of native names, and then they're all got some kind of plaque on who the financial mogul was that had built them, and they're not really elaborate, luxurious mansions. They're just simple cottages for the most part, which was kind of interesting to know that the richest people in the world built them, and they were very low key and almost like a cabin in the woods instead of a luxurious house like you'd expect. And they all had Indian names. So I started asking them about the Indian history of the island. And he lit up. He just was like, that's what he really wanted to talk about because he loved the Indian history. And so he takes me back to the museum, and he said, we got a lot of stuff on the Indians. He said, this was actually like the government main community for a
Yeah,
tribe
Peter,
of
this
Indians
kind
that
of thing
don't
isn't
exist
for
anymore.
everyone. You
That
know,
tribe was called the Timucas.
we can try and follow
And
along
I said,
if
well,
you
that's
want.
interesting. My name's
Yeah.
Tim. And but anyway, I didn't know anything about the Timucas.
It
I'm
can
from
be a
Oklahoma.
bit confusing.
I've learned a lot of Native history, and I have some Native bloodline, but I did not know anything about the Timucas. So I just asked him, please tell me everything that you can tell me about them. There's something about the natives that I feel like I need to know. So he said, well, the Jekyll Island Club was actually built on top of everything that the Indians had. So they just kind of wiped the village out and built the club on top of it. So wherever the chief's house was, there was a cottage now. Wherever the council house was, there was now the Jekyll Island Hotel. And he said everything that's built and visible today is actually sitting right on top of something that was significant in the Indian village when it existed. So he said the fact that this whole place had to go into ruins and then be rebuilt and become an archaeological state park, he said it actually helped us identify the Native history because the club itself had almost erased that. And so I said, well, let's look at the museum. I want to see some of the Indian stuff. So we're looking at arrowheads and spear tips and, just artifacts that they had found and pottery shards and things and seashells that they had. And he's showing me all their stuff in the museum. He shows me some fragments of a weapon that was like an unusual bow. And when I say unusual, I mean that it was like a double curved bow. And that was a very unusual shape of a bow for a native tribe. I had never seen that shape before with an American Indian tribe. And I've seen a lot of bows and arrows. So I asked him, I said, this seems unusual. I've not seen this before. In Oklahoma, every native tribe, the bows would look like a single bow or just a single curve. I said, this is quite extraordinary, especially as far back as this tribe was. So he said, yeah, we found a lot of weapon type artifacts that we've not seen with other tribes. And I said, well, how do you know these were Native Americans? Maybe they were from somewhere else.
Well, yeah.
He said, oh, no. They were the Timucas because they're well established along the Florida and Georgia coast. And he said, we got a lot of stuff in 3 or 4 states about them. And they were quite prolific at one time. So he said, we know they're Native Americans. I said, well, all right, what else you got? He said, well, we got some skeletons. He said, you want to see the bones?
Yeah, evil intent for sure.
That sounds, don't get to see a skeleton very often. I said, are they where we can actually see them, or are they buried? He said, no, they're visible. So they had a burial site that they had been very respectful for when they built the museum. When they found a burial site, they didn't move the bones. They left them where they were, and they just uncovered them to where they were visible, and then they built the museum on top of them. They did basically the same thing with the museum that the Jekyll Island guys had done with their houses.
Wow.
They put a piece of plexiglass over the burial site so you could see it, but they were still trying to respect where the bones were and not move them. And so I'm looking at 4 skeletons of the Timucua chiefs. And they knew they were chiefs just from different things that were buried with them. So all of a sudden I look and I realize, man, these guys are really tall. And I commented to the guy that, how tall are these guys? They look unusually large. And he said, yeah, they're all about 8 or 8.5 foot tall.
All kinds of cultures made pottery.
I was like, well, that doesn't seem like a normal Native American.
Working with clay is
especially the tribes that I'm familiar
pretty much
with.
worldwide, I think.
He said all the Timucas were unusually tall, even the women.
They were.
We found other skeletons and parts of bones out in the grounds, and he said we've got pretty good evidence that nearly all of them were extraordinarily tall. And I said, well, what is, how do you explain that in relation to other tribes
How
on the
tall were
Atlantic
they?
coast who were not? He said, I don't know. It is an unusual anomaly. He said, oh, by the way, I've got a painting that you might want to see. It's actually the copy of the original. We've got it under lock and key. But he said, I got a painting that actually shows the Indians from a group of French colonists that came to the United States before it was the U.S. This was right after Columbus.
8 feet tall. Wow.
He said it was the first colony of French folks that came over to try to establish a colony on the coast. And he said they landed in Jekyll Island, and they had some interaction with these Indians, and then they got so appalled by what they saw and witnessed that they fled at night and ended up in San Augustine, Florida, and established that city. So I said, were they the Huguenots who were the French group that established San Augustine? He said, yes. I said, well, I'd like to see that painting then. So he pulls that out. I'm looking at it, and it shows the Indians and all their regalia, and they're dancing around and having some kind of ceremony, and it's got the fire, and it's got...
Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff to look up, Peter.
Either they're having a party or they're having a war
here.
scene, and it has some things with the weapons. So I said, gosh, this has got some weapons in it that clearly validates the archaeology that they found. And then I see an altar. And I'm going, I don't know of a Native American tribe anywhere in the country. I know some that had log houses or high places or worshipped, nature in some way, or had totem poles or that kind of stuff. But this one has a stone altar, and it looks a whole lot like the one that I had dealt with in the Middle East. And I'm looking at the picture, and I'm going, is this an altar? Is this stone like something they're sacrificing on? Because this guy's holding babies in his hands in this picture. He said, yeah, they're cutting those babies, they're hacking those babies up in that painting.
Oh.
So when you look at the details, two of the shamans or chiefs are holding a baby up by the ankles, and they're whacking their heads off and spilling the blood on this altar.
Ew.
And I'm like, sir, I don't want to be disrespectful of your
Now, people do say that about all their
archaeological
enemies all the
understanding of
time.
history, but I don't know of any native tribe that did what I'm seeing here, unless it was an act of war. And this is really, really unusual. And I've seen this type of scene with artifacts over in the Middle East. And I've seen weapons like this over in the Middle East. I said, are you sure this is Native Americans and not some kind of colony that came from over there? And he was convinced they were Native. And I said, well, I'd like to show you some things.
Yeah, I don't think they were doing that to themselves.
Artifacts in the Middle East countries, and especially Egypt and Israel and Syria and Jordan area, and some of those spots where there's some of these ancient groups. And I said, this type of altar, this type of religious ceremony,
The
and
enemy's
some of
always
these
doing the most
weapons,
heinous
I've
things,
seen them
right?
before
Killing
over
children
there.
and all that,
Well, he was quite interested in that because he loves Native American history, but he's starting to question, maybe I need to dig into this more. That was his comment. So I said, at that point, then I thought, I believe this is why I'm here. I needed to see this and hear about this. At this point, I'm not that concerned about the financial stuff anymore. I'm wanting to know, where is this altar? And so I asked him, I said, can you take me to this altar? I often pray over these things, and it's very beneficial for the land and for the country and for the people. Can I go to this altar and see it? He said, I can take you to the altar, but you can't see it. And I said, why can't I see it? Is it buried? He said, no, it's not buried, but it has a house built on top of it. I said, who would be crazy enough to build their house on top of a blood sacrifice altar? He said, well, Rockefeller was. I just like, okay, can we go there? And he said, yeah, it's just a short walk. Come on. And we've actually, had already walked by it. So he said, I've got the keys. He said, normally nobody can go in. The way these things are set up, they're historical homes now. The state of Georgia owns the park. They lease out to another group, the hotel, to run, but the houses are maintained on the National Historical Register, and they're part of the state park. So you can't go in any of them without a guided tour or permission, but you can go look in the windows and walk on the porches and walk all around them. And they're set up inside just like they were when they were actually being used back in the 20s and earlier. So we go over there, and he's got the keys, though. So we go into the house, and he takes me into the parlor. And he says, well, I know you're a praying guy, so you probably would like to have a little time to pray. He said, you're standing right on top of the altar right now. This is the room that is built on top of it. He said, I'm just going to go over here and sit down for a few minutes and read the newspaper, and I'll let you pray and do whatever you need to do. The room that they were sitting in when they drew up the entire legislation and plan to pass it that became the Federal Reserve Act. So this was the conception of the Federal Reserve banking system on the parlor, sitting on top of a blood sacrifice altar.
Where babies were sacrificed.
Yes. And so all of a sudden it's like, wow, no wonder our banking system has so much corruption in it, even when people want to do the right thing. The idea that it was conceived like this, I'm going, this is not just a bunch of wealthy guys that got away for a vacation and came up with a profitable business plan. This has got something diabolical, something occultic about it, something evil that's wrapped up with it.
Yeah.
And so even if it had been a good idea and something beneficial for the country, which many would argue that it was, this demonic power must have gotten into it. That's what happens when an altar is not dealt with. That's what happens when God's people do not do spiritual warfare the way he tells us to. Then we all become subject to it, because they didn't just create a bank, they created a banking system that every one of us have become subject to. So think about this. You've got money that you receive as a ministry, or that when you earn, I'm sure you tithe and give offerings. On your money is idolatry. It's printed right on your money.
Canaanite altars on Jackal Island, human sacrifice, and giants. These are the reasons why I traveled to Jackal Island. I wanted to see if these things were real or if this was just a story. Unfortunately, my time at Jackal Island was met with a lot of closed doors. All the footage you've seen and that you're seeing now, I took, and I was able to get access inside of Indian Mound. However, I was not able to corroborate any of the stuff he was saying because nobody wanted to talk. Everybody I asked about this had no idea what I was talking about. So, I guess this investigation remains inconclusive. Did JP Morgan and the Rockefellers actually come up with the idea for the Federal Reserve while sitting on top of a sacrificial altar? Who knows? But if true, it would make a lot of sense.
Oh, I know you're a praying guy.
So this is the room where they had the altar. But in other cases, apparently they put glass over top of the archaeological sites. Why did they do that for the chief's skeletons, but not for this altar? It's interesting. Built a house right on top of it. Nice red carpet. Yeah. It's a beautiful room. Lots of windows. But I wonder if they can have access through that floor to that altar. Looking at the floor, I can see that there are wrinkles in the carpet. I don't know. That line there on the left-hand side, the left bottom side, could be a door, could be removable flooring there. I don't know. That's interesting. There's a line right up the middle of the room. Actually, two lines, kind of. One here, but it could just be the floorboards, right? Some of the floorboards are separated or something, or pinched together. But yeah, you would think you would want to be able to see that as an archaeological site, and why build a house right on top of it? That doesn't make much sense. If they did archaeological sites in other places, that's so the creature from the pit, or the evil inside man manifesting finally to make it. Wow. I don't know, that's quite a story. Yeah, and the Federal Reserve itself was a trick on the people. Um, the bankers came out in the newspaper saying that they were against the Federal Reserve. So the people that wrote it said they were against it, so that because the people at the time were so against the bankers that they would vote against anything that the bankers said they wanted. So in the newspapers, they printed out that the bankers did not want the Federal Reserve to pass, and they put it to the people's vote. And the people thought that the bankers wanted it, which would have been, in their minds, bad for them. So the people voted for it, and here we are with our money being owned by private companies, private individuals, instead of actually being owned and loaned out by government. Been like that for a long time, since the Fed started over 100 years ago. And the same thing is true in Canada and other countries. They all went under the same type of system. So that's interesting that the Fed might have been drawn up here. Um, that it would be done over a sacrificial site is just horrible, of course. But yeah, and the numerology of it, I'm sure, is just insane. Just like having Congress met during holiday vacation. Exactly, Mary. Yeah. I always thought the natives must use abandoned stone buildings unless they were considered cursed. I don't know about that. Yeah, go figure, huh? Not know says the IRS Act uh, never even passed. Yeah. Well, yeah, and income tax was supposed to be a temporary thing to pay for the Second World War, um, but they found it just made so much money. Well, let's just keep it, right? Yeah, taxes are, well, in the States, yes. In Canada, we never got our separation from the Queen and those laws uh, that go along with that. So we're still in Canada. And I was expressing earlier how your vote really doesn't matter in the States or Canada. In the States, it goes through the Electoral College that can completely overturn your results. So it's just the popular vote, really. Just the who's popular. It doesn't really count for a vote. In Canada, the members of Parliament can overturn our elections, or whatever the people vote for. The popular vote isn't really in there, because we have the MPs have to get together and decide if they like the popular vote. Basically. Hi, Look Within. How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, west coast of China. So I don't know what you guys think of Jekyll Island. I think it's a horrible thing. Yeah, it used to be illegal not to go to church and pay your tithing, Morgan, Isabella. You'd go to jail. Before that, the Romans had the sacrifice. You had to get your paper proving you did your sacrifice. So we've been taxed pretty much infinitely. Taxing us is not new. It's just changed form. A little more in your face, pretty much. For your labor, I'm going to take away a bunch of your labor, and that's all you can do about it. And they do it. They just enforce these taxes on us in different ways. It's in Florida. Let's see if we have maps open here. So it was named in 1733 by Ogle. Oh my God, what was his name? Oh, that's that. General James Oglethorpe named Jekyll Island in honor of Sir Joseph Jekyll, his friend and financier from England. In the late 1800s, Jekyll Island became an exclusive hunting club for families with names like Rockefeller, Morgan, Vanderbilt. Yeah, apparently by that story, it did become a hunting club, and they slaughtered the natives there, who apparently were very tall people with bows from looked like Spanish bows, I think, or he said Assyrian. Can't remember. So those were the people who wiped it out, or they came, they saw, they ran away. Yeah, in the late 1800s, Jekyll Island became an exclusive hunting club for families with names like Rockefeller, Morgan, Vanderbilt, Pulitzer, and Baker. So very interesting, and the possibility of the bill for the Federal Reserve, being made there. Vampiric bloodlines, yeah. Yep, you can be taken off your land at any time, unfortunately. Fed pays for it, then you make payments for it. Yeah, that's how it works. And of course, they've added fractional reserve lending so they can make money out of thin air with none of the energy or representation of energy that it has, and that diminishes the value of all the other money out there in circulation. It's a totally messed up system. So Jekyll Island in Florida, yeah, looks like it does. It looks like a dangly thing. Looks like a penis hanging down. Sorry to say that, everyone, but it does. But it's got a heck of a golf course on it. It takes up like a quarter. Get in there. Takes up like a quarter of the island practically. Right there's the golf course. It looks like a spider, like a twisted spider legs. It's got, see what's in the middle of the spider. So the Jekyll Island Golf Club. Yeah, I'm wondering if there's any star fort type shapes in the landscape. I'd be curious. Bunch of natives living with a star fort. Some putting ranges. Not really seeing anything in the landscape. Take a back out view. Don't see anything really interesting. Very flat looking landscape. I don't know. Interesting place though. So there's the fire department. Where is the Jekyll Island Museum? Let's take a look in there. Dugout canoe. Let's see what kind of history they portray. Okay, so they show some of the same picture images we saw. There's the house. Don't know which house that is. Or that's the museum, I guess. Some samples of the houses. Beautiful. Look at the water feature. Yeah, not very interesting. A lot of houses. Oh, they're showing us I guess this is the type of house they believe that the Indians lived in. Okay. So a little bit of the history there, I guess. Not the history we heard, though. Indian tribes. Oh, really? To clear past things, nice. I think the island holds on to physical or residual energy. Blood, maybe. Could be. Yeah, we could send love and heal. That's a good idea, Mark. Lands do hold karmic energy, Scotty Boy says. You love the wagon. Probably how we got the screwed up history. Yeah, it is. It's 411 here. 411 information. Skull and bones not good either. No. If the bones are still in place, nothing you can do, or not much. Maybe, maybe not, Desert Rose. I don't know. It's always worth a good try, isn't it? If we can help them free from the trauma, or wish their freedom from the trauma with good intentions and happiness, it's kind of what we have to do in our lives, right? We have to move on from the trauma and the drama and try to be happy and healthy, with ourselves. Forgive ourselves for our past sins, move on, and sin no more, right? Everything land is Star Force. I couldn't find any indication of it, really, but it's not to say it's not there. Oh, fruit drink with avocado sounds yummy. Don't use the. Are your avocados the Appeal brand? Check for that. That's apparently a Phil Yates creation. So, well, he coated them with something anyway that gets into them. That's what I heard. Okay. Oh, all right, let's do a smudge. Send some healing energy and love and joy to those that suffered trauma at that place. Where's my smudgy stick? Oh, there's my sage. So this is not the fire smudge. This is a different one. Having trouble getting it going. Smudge time, yeah. So they were giants too. The original inhabitants of Jekyll Island were 8 feet tall. It's amazing. So they killed a bunch of giants. That's mean. All right. So this smudge is for the inhabitants of Jekyll Island who suffered trauma. Sending you love, joy, and happiness. Hopefully, you can move past the trauma and deflate some power out of this bill of evil they've created, the Federal Reserve and the Fed. Hey, Spartan, how you doing? Yeah, thanks for that idea, Mark. Good idea. Hi, Dolly. First loaf coming up. Nice. Killer of Giants, the Aussie song. Yeah. What's this? My Florida Made Live Free Armory. LRF 10. Serial number chambered. They only made one. I can take a picture of it if you want. I don't even know what that is. So yeah, take a picture of it. Send it to me. My email's on my channel in my biography or the community. I think it is. I think that's what it's called. Combat rifle. The serial number says go to 411 information. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Go to. Four. Oh man, yeah. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, gotcha. That's hilarious. Go to 411. Okay. Took me a minute there, Spartans. A little slow, I guess. I was lost with all the other numbers and that. What's the chambered 7 in the 24th, 11th day? Okay. That's funny. Yeah, send us a picture of that. That's hilarious. Let's see. Faith Chapel. Interesting. Jekyll Island Fire Department. The Goodyear Cottage. Okay. Yeah, some big names here. Goodyear. Wow. Days Inn. Well, that's interesting. Maybe. Maybe. There's some interesting lines down here. Well, that's neat. Is that just cracking of the land? Or something else? Huh. Okay, it's a river. That's a neat shaped river. Very odd. Drainage ditch, maybe? Maybe that's what it is a drainage ditch. Kind of curious to what that is. Big mound of something. I wonder if they have any burial mounds out here in the water, maybe. Seems like this island was much like it sank or something. Oh, it's a nice squiggly shape. Very interesting place. Hopefully we change some of the energy there to more positive. Keep that intention in your mind, positive energy for this place. The Jekyll House. Interesting. Okay. Let's look at the 11 photos of the Jekyll House. So this was probably built in the 1700s or rebuilt or something. But the spot probably would have been selected back in the 1700s, early 1700s for this house. Probably again on some type of a mound, burial site, some other sick, twisted site, I'm sure. These people are twisted. Instead of honoring the dead, they laud over them. Ooh, a driveway shot. That's okay. That's all the photos. Nice looking house. It's white, so salty. Yeah. What's this? No. Let's see. Give me a second. What is that? Not know. by what? Shifting time, energetic synthesis. Interesting. About us. We are moving into a greater intensity with the ascension timeline, entering galactic consciousness phase. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Timeline things. Okay. Interesting stuff. I'm not much into the timeline theory and all that. I haven't even seen Morgellons, or no, Morgellons. What is that? Yeah, I have no experience with that. I forget Mandela effect. Yeah. Yeah, we could live in bubbles of time instead of different streams, right? What about bubble time? I like bubble time. And every time we burst a bubble, it's a different different possibility. It's 100 degrees outside. Oh man. Sitting in your pond, I can hear an owl. That's cool. I hope you're in the shade. Being in the shade makes all the difference, you know? Yeah, right. Desert Rose, bubblicious. Everything's bubbles. Different strains of time, yeah. Different streams, different timelines, different branches. All kinds of way to look at time. Hmm. Yeah, the anger, I don't know, revenge. I don't know. I've never heard anyone say, "Thou shalt not revenge." Just my opinion. But yeah, I get your point there. We don't need to live in revenge. I would say the closest I've seen to that again is to not wage war is a druidic teaching. Um, but depends on your interpretation of what war is. You know, what's your interpretation of revenge? You know, a lot of people have a different interpretation of what it is. Different degrees. Like from total forgiveness to allowing people to stomp all over you to, I guess, punching them in the face, right? What's your degree of tolerance or, you know, forgiveness? There's daytime and there's, yes, that's true, Scotty. Time is relative. Yeah. Yeah, time is kind of like relative. I kind of like the saying that time is just a measurement of the change of energy from one form to another. Doesn't necessarily have to move or anything, really. I guess its change would be movement. So I don't know. Kind of at its simplest form. The time is just a measurement, really. It's a construct of us. I suppose you'd call it something else if we were still existing in this universe in somebody else. Count to two. Question 1, 2. Yeah, you forgot about the dawn. Yeah. What about the dawn? There's the dawn, the morning, the day, the noon, the afternoon, the evening, the night. the midnight, early morning. How many divisions are there? Time is energy. That's it. Yeah, kind of. I haven't heard that song in a while. Revenge is a good subject, though. Is there righteous revenge? Is it revenge? I don't know. Does that make it revenge, or does that take it right off of revenge? Like, say somebody killed your pappy, right? Is making them pay for that revenge, or is it justice? What do you think? I don't know. I kind of think about that, and I think about repentance, right? If they don't repent of it, how do they gain forgiveness? Forgiveness is really a personal thing, right? Hatfield and McCoy, yeah. I like Simpsons, Bite Gang, Christ Punctures. You lost me there, Isabel. Keep track with time, yeah. Yeah, is time like a real? I don't know. I suppose the concept of time, our concept of time, is a real thing. Is time a real thing? Does any? I don't know. It depends on how you define it, right? You feel time, yeah. I define time as a measurement of energy changing. That's, I figure, the simplest way to look at it. Whether it have, whatever you think the measure. that's the thing. It relies on itself to prove itself, right? So the measurement of time relies on the measurement of time to prove time. It's, there's always time for waffles. Yeah, it's a good waffle conversation. Anyone got any waffles? I got some in the freezer, I think. I haven't found a good waffle maker. I don't like Belgian waffles. They're too, I don't like them. I don't know what about them I don't like. They're just too, I don't know. They're not the right kind of waffle for me. Don't waste your time. Yeah. I don't know. Revenge is a funny subject. You guys seem to be on time instead about revenge, but that's fine. Cutting down the carbs. Well, yeah, that's a choice, right? Yeah, with real maple syrup. That's the only way to have it. I don't even touch the fake stuff. That's terrible shit. Got all that beet sugar in it. Revenge will come in time. Well, yeah, it depends on the intent with revenge, I think. Um, and is it okay in this current situation? Is revenge? I think I don't know. How do I put this? Revenge isn't revenge if the person is revenge is revenge if the person repents the situation or what they did. then that's revenge. If the person is going to continue doing the actions that they're on, and those actions are evil, that's just stopping evil. I don't think that's revenge. So it really, revenge is a situational thing. It can't be applied to everything. Revenge has a specific set of rules and interpretation that it has to follow, like a uh, certain amount of guidelines it's got to meet to be revenge, in my mind, anyway. Lenny's calls the gang the Christ Punchers to sound tough like Hell's Angels. Oh, okay. Gotcha. There was a time when time had meaning. Now you've looked at it too much. You have a heart-shaped waffle iron? That's awesome. An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. That's true. That's where repentance comes in, I think. Look within. If people, like the doctor does something wrong and he repents of it, I'm sure most doctors would feel bad, which is repentance, you know. Most anyway. Some will continue to do things that are evil, even though they know they are. Those are the ones that we're talking about. That revenge doesn't really apply. That's just they're going to continue doing bad stuff to people, and that needs to be stopped, right? Yeah, no wonder we can't see. I use time to gauge my. Yep, me too. Let my son go. Son years ago shoot a gun without my permission when he was 7. I got mad. God dropped a car on him. Well, I don't know that the two are necessarily related. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, karma is a real force, but sometimes we're humans. We don't want to wait for karma. Oh, looks like a skeleton. Wow. Yeah, a lot of disease has to do with the mind, how we think. 80% of uh, how a disease affects you apparently is from the mind. So having a good mind, a good heart, karma is real and listens. I think so. I think karma is self-applied in some respects. We put ourselves in dangerous positions, or you know, we do that to ourselves somewhat. And I think the universe kind of helps us along. Yeah, I guess so, right? Yeah, there's nothing to be mad about. Hope we have to move on from anger of things, right? Can't live in anger. That's one of the main keys. Health is not helped by anger. We all know the 7 deadly sins, and those are pretty much true. If you live in any of those sins for too long, you're going to probably get sick. Jealousy, anger, rage, any of the negative things. Accepting destiny, yeah, that's very good for the mind. We're able to do magic, yep. Some would call it prayer. I call it intention work. Like karmic savings account. Yeah, that's a good one. Yep, do good things. Plus, you're building heaven on earth, Scotty boy, right? Because that energy you put out, that positive energy you put out, is going to come back to you. You build a little heaven on earth, your own little heaven. Yeah, right, Desert Rose. Don't leave this planet with anger. Don't leave this planet in sadness or jealousy or rage or sadness or anything negative. Accept it it as it is. It's move on to the next phase. Once you can accept that, you have nothing to worry about. Yeah, heaven is a blast. On earth or in heaven. Yeah. Hi, Shangy girl. Takes the fear out of life. You know, nobody has the power of life or death over you uh, if you don't let them have it. Good to see you, Shangy girl. Everyone say hi. Yeah, state of mind. You can either live in heaven or hell. It's your choice. And you can die and go there for a short period. I think we do always come out of those negative places back to the light. Uh, but for some of us, it takes time, you know. There are no height requirements in your heaven? Excellent. Yeah, I live in a little piece of heaven. Everyone I interact with pretty much is happy to see me. And yeah, I have quite a few I have a lot of great interactions. Be nice to people around you. It really makes a difference. Not No says, I am to put every last drop of my anger to good use. Doing things in anger isn't good for you, but you know, don't do that. Thank you, Desert Rose. Love you too. Yeah, you guys are a great part of my interactions, and I love my interactions with you guys. So yeah, make a little piece of heaven for yourself. You know, take what works for you, leave what doesn't. Sometimes we force ourselves into situations, which is good for growth, but you know, limit yourself. Yeah, anger sucks, does nothing for you. Absolutely. Time for Max to come out and claw you. Yeah, I got a good mark from him last night. Probably got that brain worm from it. You're welcome, Shangy Girl. Good to see you here. Yeah, so spread some positivity. I think you came at the end, Shangy Girl. I was just about to shut it down. Where I think it's almost dinner time. And people have been talking about all their waffles. So I'm not going to have a waffle for dinner, but all right, guys. Until next time, we'll see you in class next Friday night, 11 o'clock New York time. Getting tander? Nice. Oh, you're on tonight? Nice. Thank you, Nina. I will be there. Everyone sub up to Nina the Mystic. It was Shark Week this week. I keep seeing sharks in the clouds this week. I gotta say that, Scotty boy. Maybe it's pareidolia, because Teresa sent me that thing about sharks. All right, guys. Much love to you all. Hey, Holistic Media. Thank you, Mr. Obvious. We'll see you next Friday night, or we'll see you at Nina's. Till next time, keep your third eye open. Use your intelligence and your intuition. Bye bye.